So this is how I turn my boss's hard hell no into a enthusiastic hell yeah, do it. The basics of the I'm sorry, I'm looking at squirrels running around my feet. They're being demanding this morning. Well, I tried to. There he is. That guy's called Short Round because of his short round ears. I named him after the Indiana Jones character. That little boy who was, I think it was the second Indiana Jones movie, and Indiana called him Short Round. Anyway, back to my story. How I turned a hard hell no into a enthusiastic hell yeah, I do it. So I was 6 months into the job. I noticed that all the databases on the 28 different school districts were all being housed on the same servers as the main database. If you're an administrator with any knowledge of computer backups, server backups, you don't do that kind of thing. You have to get it off site. If nothing else, copy it to tape, carry it off site in case the school burns down, server disappears, who knows? Anyway, so I know that if something catastrophic happens and one of these schools loses their database, loses that server, guess who they're going to blame? They're going to blame my office for not advising them because they hired us to maintain the software, so they're going to expect us to be responsible for everything else as well. So I approached my boss and I said, hey, I noticed all these servers, no one's taking these databases off site. We have a free infrastructure already sitting out there, won't cost us a penny. I can write a really quick batch file that will move these off the server every single night, make a copy off site, protect the school's databases. And in case of a catastrophic event, they'll only lose maybe 1 day's worth of work, but they won't lose everything. She goes, oh no, we've approached them before. They don't want to pay us $100 a month for that service, so we're not going to do that. So like, since we ain't getting paid for it, we ain't doing it. And I said, well, I put it off, but because just because I did it anyway, I didn't tell my boss. I put it in place because I just knew that if something went wrong, not only were we going to get the blame, we couldn't fix it. And we had this free infrastructure that no one was using, just sitting out there. So I slowly, over the next couple of months, I built out all these different 28 database backup systems, tested them, make sure they're working before I moved to the next one. So I got this all set up, it's all running in the background, and then one day I noticed one of the things I was doing on a regular basis was providing copies of the databases to our employees for troubleshooting. Someone at the school would have a problem, they'd ask me to get a copy of the database, give it to the technician, and this took like between 1 to 8 hours, sometimes a couple of days, depending on if there was somebody at the school who could let me have remote access to the server. And so I thought, well, maybe I can reframe this problem and make it so that my boss is the winner and makes her look good in the eyes of the client. So I approached her and said, look, we have this thing where, on a weekly basis, we have 2 or 3 schools that are asking for troubleshooting support on these databases, and I have to go out there. You know the process. You've been doing this for years. Got to go out there, get permission to get to the server, download it from the server. I said, this is taking hours and hours and sometimes days before you can even troubleshoot the problem. I said, how about if I take a backup copy every night of their database, upload it to our FTP site, and that way I can get a copy of the database to our technicians within a half an hour at the most. Speed up the troubleshooting process. You look good in the client's eyes because suddenly you're shaving days or hours off the time it takes to turn a ticket around. She's like, that's a great idea, Randy. You should do that. It's like, go ahead, set it up. Do it. And that's how I turned a hard no into an enthusiastic hell yeah. By solving my boss's pain problem rather than an outsider's pain problem. When I was able to figure out how it benefited my boss, that's when her ears perked up. When it made her look good, her ears perked up when it was just a numbers game where they weren't paying us for the service. The same exact service I had suggested earlier, just reframed it. It was amazing how the attitude changed. And that's what you need to do at your job as well. You need to start looking for things that are pain points for your boss that AI wouldn't see. AI wouldn't know about you. It's your work for infrastructure. It's the things that you do every day that no one notices because you prevented the problems before they happened, or you pointed out when there was going to be a software upgrade. You said, "Don't do that uh, because the payroll is running on Monday. We can't take the chance of it going down." Or don't do that because the CIO says he hates it when that happens. Don't ever do that. Those kinds of things, those infrastructure knowledge tidbits that only you know about that you didn't write down. That's where my workbook comes in. It's a free workbook. You can take it at your own pace. It's about discovering the skills that AI can't replace that you already have. And not only discovering those things, but making them become visible. How you can become visible in the workplace and become irreplaceable. The link will be in the description or in the comments. So, as I always say, AI assists, but humans approve. And I like a phrase that Wayne Gretzky says, or said, he's quoted as saying, "Don't go where the hockey puck is, skate to where the hockey puck is going to be." Do the same thing with AI. Start skating to where AI is going to be, not where it is now. And don't forget,